Hello, Squirrel Tribe. I want to show you this map here. This is the 2024 consensus map, I guess that's how it's called. But this is showing you the states that are predominantly Democrat, predominantly Republican, those that lean one way or the other, and those that are considered the swing states, the could go either way kind of states, right? What I find very interesting right now is that according to this, November 5th is literally barely weeks away. And we have 226 Democrat votes and 219 Republican votes, but there's 93 swing votes, right? Notice where those are: Georgia and North Carolina. Notice what has happened in the last few days in Georgia and North Carolina, that it's also affected Tennessee and Virginia and Florida. I think a little bit in Kentucky, maybe not. South Carolina was hit with it too, but Hurricane Helene came through and basically destroyed numerous locations in numerous red states, but in two swing states. And this is what I was talking about in yesterday's video. The fact that Joe Biden finally yesterday afternoon, after we talked here on the channel about him not having said a word about Hurricane Helene yet, he finally yesterday made a statement about the hurricane, and it was mumbly and he was coughing like crazy. He said he had a cold, whatever else. It didn't really say much, okay? Kamala still hasn't said anything of any merit whatsoever regarding this. But what is crazy to me is that this hurricane could literally be what makes or breaks the election. Not even to mention the strike that just started today at 12:01 a.m. October 1st with the port workers on the East Coast and all the way down through the Gulf and into Texas, right? We'll get to that in a minute though. But the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are doing nothing so far to help the states, North Carolina and Georgia, not even to mention the rest of them, but the two swing states that Kamala Harris is so hell-bent on getting votes for. And yet instead of helping the people in especially Asheville, North Carolina, and in Valdosta, Georgia, and numerous other cities in those two states, they're doing nothing. And I truly believe that Hurricane Helene, this is going to sound so messed up and it's not meant that way, so please forgive me ahead of time, but it could be the positive turning point in this election. It could literally swing voters over to the right side, to the red, to the Republicans, because of the way the Democrats are not stepping up and doing what they should do to help the citizens of this country, especially in the areas that have been hit so hard, especially right now, Asheville, North Carolina. Like, if you guys have seen videos about how everything looks there, it is horrific. There are people posting all over social media, let me actually show you. I have a post here from somebody. I just got to find where it went because I've got way too many links here. Y'all know how this works. But they were posting about how the government has done absolutely nothing. FEMA hasn't showed up. Okay, here it is. So this is from Ann Vandersteel. She posted this on X. I don't know who she is. Maybe she's somebody big. I'm not sure. So forgive me for not knowing who she is. But she says here, breaking update on Asheville, and this was posted, when was this posted? This was posted this morning at 7:09 a.m. today, October 1st. She says, the only entrance into Asheville is 30 minutes south. There are no trucks dropping off food, water, zero trucks anywhere. The response is so weak by the government. The people on the ground are doing a better job than the authorities. If regular people just got in their cars with supplies, drove in and pushed boxes out, it would be monumental and exponential in help. People are desperate. A massive surge of dried goods, formula, baby supplies delivered ASAP. A coordination of drop points is being crafted. She says, stay tuned on that. The problem here is they're running out of gas. Ace Hardware is actually giving employees gas for free so people can come buy stuff. But what about gas for people to coordinate supply dissemination? While roads are still collapsing, whole roads are still collapsing, infrastructure destroyed beyond the imagination, basically apocalyptic. The sheer act of survival is being complicated by medical concerns. Death will hasten due to lack of food and water. And with the port strike, how are they going to get food in? This is where it all ties together, right? And where is Fort Liberty? Only 5 Chinooks seen in the area. Just keep sending money to Ukraine, plead on the Senate floor for Ukraine, right? The governor of North Carolina is so corrupt. The mayor of Asheville is saying nothing, diverting avoiding every question with platitudes, doing nothing. Total stand down of law enforcement. There is no one wearing a uniform under the moniker of serve and protect seen anywhere at all. So there's another post here that says, in the last few weeks, $17.2 billion have been given out in foreign aid. Meanwhile, citizens in America are watching their lives fall apart due to natural disasters and nothing is being done. How is this not absolute treason? I'm sorry, my nose itches. And that's a very good question because, again, our government is willing to take our money, your money, our hard-earned taxpayer dollars, and send it to other countries, and they're doing nothing for the people that have been completely devastated by this hurricane that came through. And now, today, because Joe Biden, who is technically still the acting president, although he did say on The View that he's delegated all of his responsibilities over to Kamala Harris, right? He still has not done anything to try to stop the strike at the port, although he had no problem stepping in and stopping the strike when it was the railroad workers who were having issues. But now the port, nothing's being done, right? And they did go on strike this morning, 12:01 a.m. People, men and women out there with pickets on a picket line. And I have that for you in a minute. But the fact of the matter is the devastation in Asheville, North Carolina, out of all the places, I mean, it's absolutely horrific. And it's happening in numerous other cities. But right now in Asheville, a lot of people are pointing out the fact that Asheville happens to be just coincidentally massive lithium mining opportunities and capabilities. They wanted to build some sort of lithium mining construction, and it got turned down. I don't remember how long ago this was because we talked about it when it happened. This was a while ago. They turned it down, and now, y'all, this feels just like Lahaina. This feels just like East Palestine, Ohio. This feels just like other natural disasters or issues where it's basically wiped out a bunch of stuff, whether it's all the houses in Lahaina from the fires. Now the land is wide open for investors to come in and take, right? Whether it's East Palestine, Ohio, where people left because of all the chemicals and stuff. And now it's so close to the border of Pennsylvania where there's also lithium available. Like they're like 12 miles apart, right? Lithium available there. And now here you have Asheville, North Carolina, where they're like, hey, listen, massive lithium possibilities underneath the city of Asheville, North Carolina. And here you have the government not stepping in. Is it because they're waiting to sell Asheville, North Carolina to the highest bidder to go in and clean it up? But does clean it up mean completely destroy it, not build it back? No, build back better for Asheville, North Carolina. Instead, they're going to destroy the ground and take everything that's underneath it and say, screw the people. That may sound a little conspiracy theorist, but what else the past couple years has sounded like a conspiracy theory and then come true? Basically everything that a lot of people have talked about. Anyway, so I wanted to bring that to your attention because the fact of the matter is, it is election year. The way that the current sitting administration handles these issues will determine for a lot of people now how they are going to vote on November 5th. It will determine, this is my personal opinion, this whole situation right now between Hurricane Helene and the port strike will determine if we stay Democrat run after November 5th, or if we go back, because going back sounds great to me right now, to a Republican administration. And I personally think the lack of help that is being given to the people who need it right now is going to sway people towards the right, and we are going to easily take this election. And if we don't, again, I've already said it's because they've stolen it and they've cheated. But anyway, yesterday, on top of all of this, y'all, yesterday, Verizon, I don't know how many of y'all have Verizon. I'm AT&T. I have family that's AT&T, people that are T-Mobile, few people that are Verizon. I saw on Facebook yesterday as we were driving back we went and picked up a friend who was basically stranded because of Hurricane Helene, about 5-6 hours away, needed a way home. So my husband and I yesterday went to get him and his dog so that he could get back home, right? Because he evacuated in case. And we're driving home and I'm on Facebook because my family's on Facebook and that's how we keep in touch with each other, like extended family and stuff, right? And I'm on there and I'm seeing places, I follow a lot of pages of where I live, and I see people posting, my cell phone's not working, Verizon's not working, I can't get anything to work, blah, 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 blah. So then I start looking it up, and y'all, according to a tier 2 technician at Verizon, now this was posted by Shadow of Ezra on X earlier today, or late last night, sorry. There has been a deliberate An unauthorized shutdown of the U.S. electrical grid that specifically targeted cell towers, starting locally and expanding nationwide. Verizon has experienced the most significant impact, with other carriers also affected due to their reliance on Verizon's infrastructure. The systemic nature of the shutdown indicates it was likely executed with ill intent rather than being a simple system malfunction. So you see, the 5G towers, everything like that. Do you guys remember a couple months ago when we talked about the fact that AT&T and T-Mobile were down? And they tried to say it was because they were doing some sort of update and it glitched and there was whatever else. And then later on, and I told you then later on, they came out and go, no, sorry, we were hacked. And I said it from day one. I said, they're lying to you because they don't want to scare people, but they were hacked. The fact that we rely so heavily on technology is going to be the downfall of us all, which again ties into the strike at the port right now, because they are striking, one, for a raise in wage, because they haven't had a raise in a very, very long time. I think the average they get paid is like $20 an hour. Bro, you can go to McDonald's and flip a burger for the same price. And these people are literally breaking their backs, making sure that we get the supplies that we need from sea to land. And I feel like they should definitely get paid more for what they do, right? But anyway, they are also on strike because they want to make sure that robots don't come in and take over the job, that AI doesn't take over, that technology doesn't kick out actual human workers. And I'm okay with that, because guess what? The more technology that we have in the places where we had people working, the more chance we have of everything being shut down, and then we're completely screwed, right? So I can understand their strike right now, but it goes along with this. We rely so heavily on technology. Asheville, North Carolina, and all these other places that have been hit by Hurricane Helene, they have no electricity. There goes all the food that you prep, that you put in your refrigerator. There goes your ability, if you need any sort of oxygen or anything that requires a plug-in, electricity, whatever else, there goes that. A lot of issues with not just a hurricane, not the port itself, but literally technology. We rely on it so heavily for absolutely everything that when anybody can deliberately shut down the U.S. electrical grid and specifically target cell towers, which is what this says. Imagine how we will be, no pun intended, but left in the dark. Like, this is crazy to me. All the things that are happening simultaneously, like these October surprises. Surprise, we have no electricity because they hacked our grids and everything's down. Surprise, these towns are still having, after Hurricane Helene, issues because more roads are still washing away. And somebody pointed out in a comment yesterday, which I had not even thought about, the standing water, the dirty water, the bodies that are in the water. And then I started thinking they have a death count from Hurricane Helene in these cities, these states, but that's because of people they know are missing. What about the homeless men and women who don't have somebody to say, hey, so-and-so didn't come home. Hey, so-and-so hasn't been seen at work. Hey, so-and-so, whatever. Imagine how many people are missing from that. Then throw in the illegal immigrants, right? And then you have like much higher numbers than are being told on the death toll from Hurricane Helene. But besides all that, if you don't have the government or anybody going in to bring supplies to help people to eat, to have food, to have any sort of electricity, to have gas, to have water, anything else, you also don't have the medicine coming in, you're going to have more people who are going to lose their life due to lack of supplies, right? Number one. Then the water is going to get really, really dirty if it's not already extremely dirty, and that can infect people as well. And you're going to have death and issues from that. You're going to have the smell that goes along with all of it in all these areas from that standing water, that dirty water, from the corpses of human and animals that are in this water. Like, it's going to be a huge deal. And this isn't like a cleanup overnight, like, whatever, it's done. This is going to take time. And the fact that our government is still just sitting around with their thumbs up their asses does not help anything. This is one of those things where you need to be expeditiously getting people in there. And I hope I used that word right. Get people in there and get things going, get things moving, get things cleaned up, get people fed, get medicine to people. But then you have the port strike. And everything is going hand in hand with I don't even know, the world's biggest shit show right now is what it comes down to, because you have the hurricane issues. Now you have the port closing down. So then you're going to have people that need the food not being able to get it because other people are worried about not having food. It's going to be like a 2020 toilet paper water rush all over again, but even worse, because we know exactly how it went back then. And so people who did not go out and buy extra stuff, this time they're gonna be like, oh, go get everything. People who did stock up before are gonna be like, told you so. And they've either got some supplies or they're gonna go get more. And we're gonna see a lot of issues at the stores, the gas stations, everywhere. Higher prices, because price gouging is a thing and people are gonna do it. Higher cost of fuel. Fuel costs are gonna go up. Then fuel is gonna go down. You're gonna see lines like out the wazoo of people trying to get gas. And if the gas stations put a cap on how many gallons you can get, if they won't let you fill up little containers to take with you, it's going to get third worldish over here real soon because of just everything basically working together to create this perfect ball of crap is what it comes down to. I have more for you here. Hold on. I have so many different notes that it's absolutely ridiculous. Y'all know how it works. So I got this article. This is from ABC News, who I'm not a fan of, but they talked about the dock workers hit picket lines in historic U.S. port strike that could impact prices. I like how they tried to say could, knowing good and damn well that it's definitely going to impact prices. But what I thought was interesting to talk about, this is the first large-scale Eastern dock worker strike in 47 years. It began at ports from Maine, went all the way down through Texas, including the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. This is according to New York Governor Kathy Hochul, whatever the crap her name is. We don't like her. It doesn't really matter. She said that in preparation, New York has been working around the clock to ensure their grocery stores and medical facilities have the essential products they need, which the one silver lining to this of the port closures is that we knew ahead of time, right? They didn't just decide overnight to do it and not give anybody a heads up. They did give people a heads up. They gave the unions a head up so that maybe they could work this out before the strike occurred, and they didn't work it out. And here we are on strike, but they gave people a heads up. So a lot of places were able to over order things to be prepared. What they couldn't over order though are going to be your perishables, your meats, your eggs, your fruits, your vegetables, things like that, fresh ones, not frozen, obviously. So those things are going to be some of the first things to go, my opinion. Those things are also going to be the first ones to go up in price, my opinion on that, just based off what we saw 2020, 2021, right? Now, according to this, the ILA president, Harold Daggett, I have a video of him that I'm going to show you in just a few minutes, but he says this, they've confirmed the union's first coast-wide strike in nearly 50 years is underway as of 12:01 a.m. The statement said tens of thousands of ILA rank and file members started to set up picket lines at shipping ports up and down the Atlantic and Gulf Coast at 12:01 a.m. Now, if I could get the right information here, we are prepared to fight as long as necessary to stay out on strike for whatever period of time it takes to get the wages and protections against the automation our ILA members deserve. This is according to the president, Harold Daggett. The ports account for more than half of the nation's container imports, facilitating the transport of everything from toys to fresh fruit to nuclear reactors. This is according to JP Morgan senior equity analyst Brian Ossenbeck. Now, the prolonged work stoppage of several weeks or months could rekindle inflation for some goods and trigger layoffs as manufacturers, as raw materials dry up, blah, blah, blah. The strike would be very, very disruptive. This is according to somebody else. But the ILA, which is the union representing the East Coast and the Gulf Coast dock workers, they are seeking a higher wage and a ban on the use of some automated equipment. Not all of it, but some of it, right? ILA longshore workers deserve to be compensated for the important work they do, keeping American commerce moving and growing. Meanwhile, ILA dedicated longshore workers continue to be crippled by inflation due to USMX's unfair wage packages. Now, the USMX, which is the U.S. Maritime Alliance for, short, they're an organization bargaining on behalf of the dock workers' employers. They declined to talk to anybody lately. President Joe Biden, in case anybody is curious, President Joe Biden retains the power, as of right now, unless he gave it to Kamala Harris too, to prevent or halt the strike under the 1947 Taft-Hartley Act. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce sent a letter to Biden on Monday urging the White House to intervene, which it has previously said it will not do. The White House is not going to because they want the votes of the union workers. So they're not going to step in to stop the union workers, right? Now, this weekend, senior officials have been in touch with USMX representatives, urging them to come to a fair agreement fairly quickly, one that reflects the success of the companies. Now, what's crazy to me is that not only does this strike affect the dock workers, okay, and it affects us at stores and things like that, but think about the other innocent bystanders, and because that's what they are at the end of the day, the innocent bystanders who aren't union, who are paid hourly, who are whatever, that are supposed to drive the trucks that take the stuff from the port to the grocery store. Think about the grocery store itself. Think about the employees in the grocery store or whatever store. This is a trickle down effect. The fact that the port workers have, or dock workers have gone on strike is a trickle down effect. And while I understand why they are doing what they are doing, I still think it sucks for everybody else who's going to get the shaft because of it. Do you understand how many people will get laid off, will lose their jobs because they're not able to work? If you're a delivery driver and you have nothing to deliver, why would your company keep you? If you're a grocery store with no groceries, how do you plan on staying open? Why would you keep your employees? If you're a gas station that can't get gas, what are you going to do then? Like, there's all these issues. It all works together. It's one big rotating ball of stuff, right? And the problem here is that these dock workers who are trying their best to get what they believe is fair and just for them and themselves and their families, at the same time, it's going to hurt numerous Americans who may be laid off. And then if they don't have money coming in, what happens to their mortgage payment, their car payment, their insurance payment, their ability to get groceries and food and things for their family? It's one of those things where it's hard to cheer for the union workers for doing what is best for them, because that means you're cheering for the demise of other people at the same time. It's a very weird place to be, to either agree with it or disagree with it, because you see it from both sides, right? I was thinking earlier, though, that this is going to be what ends up ending unions. The more unions that go on strike, the more it starts to affect the economy. It may have been 47 years, but under the Biden administration, we've had the railways go on strike. We had the United Auto Workers, the UAW, go on strike. Now you have the port workers going on strike. There's 3 strikes in 4 years under Biden administration. I do not remember any strikes under the Trump administration. If I am wrong, please let me know in the comments, but I don't remember, and I didn't Google it, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't remember any strikes under the Trump administration. And so far, we've had the biggest players in the game go on strike under the Biden administration. But I can see this being a thing that ends up either destroying the unions, right? Or making it so that everybody is unionized. There will be no more regular work. It will be one or the other, because then it's easier to keep control, I guess is the right word. And I feel like that's the word that, like, if Kamala Harris were to get in, like, they're not going to step in now with the port workers, but heaven forbid she makes it into the Oval Office. I feel like she'll do a 180 and kick them while they're down and try to figure out a way to break up the unions, right? Because of what it costs the economy and how our inflation is going to go back up because of it and stuff like that. But anyway, I wanted to bring you that. There's more here. Let me find my next little link. I've got a lot. Okay, so here it is. I wanted to show you, you guys can see here, this is the map of the ports that are on basically shut down. And these are your workers that are out there with the picket lines. But this is huge. I mean, for this amount to bring in more than half of the country's products from overseas and stuff like that. Also, though, makes for a very good push to figure out how to do more for our country within our country, to quit relying on so many other countries for the things that we have. So much of our medicine is made in India and China, who don't have the same safety regulations that we do. A lot of our food comes from other countries, Australia and China, and just numerous, right? Mexico, but that's easy. They just walk it through the border to us. But the fact that we rely on so much to come from overseas is why a port worker strike is detrimental to our economy, because we don't have the ability and the means to turn around inwards and pull it from our own country, because the current administration has outsourced so many things overseas and has given so much of our land to overseas companies. And it's just shit show. It's a shit show. What is this one? Is this one I already read you? Sorry, guys. Oh, here it is. So this is the union leader or president I was telling you guys about. Let me pause this so you guys can hear what he has to say. I got to close down all these other tabs, or else you're going to be listening to 15 people try to talk at once, and that's not what we want. This is from Charlie Kirk. All right. He says, President of the International Longshoremen's Association, the ILA, Harold J. Daggett, 100% means business. So I'm going to let you guys listen to this if I can get the volume up, and here we go.
Secretary of Labor Julie Sue has been terrific. She's knocking down doors. She's trying to stop this. She's trying to get us to a meeting where we can have a fair negotiations. It's the companies that don't want to. They don't want to sit here and be fair. So that's why we're out here fighting for our livelihood.
What more from the automation do you want? What more protections could there be?
What more?
Yeah, they have language in there now.
Not strong enough, because what happens is they come in with new technology. We just caught them in Mobile, Alabama, called Autogate, and that means the trucks are coming in and they're already checked in somewhere else and not using the checkers in the ILA. Circumventing the contract. They don't care. They don't care. It's not fair. And if we don't put our foot down now, they would like to run over us, and we're not going to allow that.
You are going to grind the economy to a halt here on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast.
No, not us.
No.
Don't say it now, because you're Fox News. They're going to drive it.
Yeah.
Are you worried? Are you worried that this
They
strike?
have the capital to settle this thing.
Are you worried that this strike is going to hurt the everyday American, the farmers that need to reach the export market? They're telling me that they're going to hurt through
Now
all
you
of
start
this.
to realize who the longshoremen are, right?
Nobody cares.
People never gave a about us until now, when they finally realized that the chain is being broke now. Cars won't come in. Food won't come in. Clothing won't come in. You know how many people depend on our jobs? Half the world. And it's time for them and time for Washington to put so much pressure on them to take care of us, because we took care of them and we're here 135 years and brought them where they are today, and they don't want to share.
Look, that makes perfect sense to me. Like I was saying, it's one of those things where you understand the side that they're coming from, even though you also see how it's going to be detrimental on the other side. But the fact of the matter is, he's right when he says it's going to hurt worldwide, which is what I was talking about with my husband yesterday on his channel. This isn't just going to affect here. It's going to hurt the countries that we import from. It's going to hurt the countries that we export to, who are no longer getting their stuff either. This is literally worldwide, and it's not their fault. It's the fault of the corporations, and that's what it generally comes down to when things like this happen. It's the fault of the corporations, who care more about their profits than they do about the people who are helping them make those profits. Without these people doing this job, their products wouldn't sell the same way. It's like saying, oh, well, they can just do it online. Okay, cool, but you still have to have workers or even machines, right, to pick the stuff. But you still have to have the drivers. You still have to have all these different aspects. And without those different aspects, nothing would work. It's literally got to be a well-oiled machine. And right now, basically, the ILA is saying that the machine hasn't been oiled. It's rusty. It's falling apart. It's not working correctly. And all they're doing is asking for a little more oil in the machine to make it run correctly and make it work again. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if these companies really want to stay in business for themselves and really want to be able to keep producing and keep making money, they're going to have to work with ILA and other aspects, in order to keep it going, or else just boom, a whole big bada boom. So I love what he had to say, because it's true. Nobody gave a shit about the dock workers, the longshoremen, until right now. And it's true. Nobody cares about something until it affects them. I don't know why, but it seems to be the way it is. Now, the Hodge twins posted this on X earlier about illegals that are robbing hurricane victims in Tennessee. So there is video here of police officers arresting illegal immigrants or illegal aliens or whatever people want to call them, basically criminals, border jumpers illegally, they're arresting them because they have been robbing people. These are 8 illegal immigrants who were caught robbing hurricane victims, illegally entered the country as gotaways. The illegals were caught looting in eastern Tennessee as locals were fighting for their lives. And then it names all of these people, and I don't really give a shit about their names. They range in the age from 24 up to, it looks like 51. Old enough to know better, old enough to get a job, old enough to do things legally, but dumb enough to try to do it, the way they're doing it. And look where it landed them. Handcuffs. Now, here's the problem though. Our country, for some reason, will handcuff them and book them for a second and then just send them back out. And then, you need some money to go on your way? Here, have some money, have some food, have some place to stay. And after they've just tried to rob American citizens. I don't understand where we are as a country, and it's because of who's leading it. And this is why we have got to get back to a Republican-led country, a country with morals, a country with some sort of common sense, because right now that common sense is out the window. And on top of that, you have Gavin Newsom, that oily, slicky piece of shit. I don't like him at all. He's too greasy looking to me. You know what I mean? That. I don't even know how to explain it. Anyway, he literally in California has signed a bill into law, ready for this, that bars local governments from enacting laws to require residents to show a valid form of identification in order to vote. This is also after Arizona just realized that they have like over 100-something thousand illegal immigrants that are registered to vote because they didn't check their identification or whatever, but they're going to let it slide. It's fine. So now over 100,000 people in Arizona will get to vote, even though they're not legal immigrant or illegal migrants or legal in any way. And now in California, Gavin Newsom signed a bill into law that bars local governments from enacting laws to require residents to show a valid form of identification in order to vote. Because he knows how many illegal immigrants are in his state, whether it's, from the Mexico border or coming in from the seas, from China, from wherever else. There's a lot of illegal immigrants in California right now, and they're going to have the opportunity to vote because Gavin Newsom wants to ensure that Democrats stay in power in California. And the best way to do that is to bring in people to help you out to vote on your behalf. Absolute treason, in my personal opinion, and he should not be allowed to hold office at all whatsoever anywhere. He shouldn't even be allowed to manage a McDonald's at all. He should be, I don't even know what he should be, but he should be taken out of whatever role he has right now. He should not be allowed to be the governor of California. So that's that. Listen, with a lot we talked about today, hopefully all of it made sense. I have a tendency to run off at the mouth, but it is what it is. Squirrel Tribe, I love y'all immensely. Thank you for always being here and supporting the channel, supporting each other in the comments. I hope everybody is safe from the hurricane. I hope everybody is safe from looting of illegal immigrants. Oh, y'all. And it's only Tuesday. It's October 1st and it's Tuesday and we still have, what is this, like 4.5 weeks until election? And then, what's going to happen after November 5th? It's like the countdown game. Like what is it? Oh, what is that? The soap opera one, the Sands of Time? No, what is it? But the hourglass, I can't think of it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I swear it's The Young and the Restless, right? Is that the one that had the little hourglass thing and it had the sands going through it? But I can't remember the intro now to save my life, even though before I could quote it all day long. Anyway, y'all help a girl out. Put it in the comments if you know it, okay? I love y'all. I'll see you guys again later. Bye.